Some people, when they fight, are looking for answers. Others are looking for recognition. And then there are the people who fight just for the sake of fighting. In this week's Parsha, we learn about the rebellion of Korach. Shortly after the issue with the Meraglim, with the spies who came back with bad reports, a man by the name of Korach attempts to create a rebellion aimed at the leadership of Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen. Korach campaigns on the idea of Madua Tisnasu, asking Moshe Rabbeinu, why do you raise yourself up? Why is there a hierarchy if every Jew is holy? Basing it off halachic questions that he asks Moshe, such as, if a house is full of Torah, does it need a mezuzah? Hoping Moshe Rabbeinu would answer yes, to which he could respond, so too, every single Jew is equal. Moshe Rabbeinu instead answered no, which prompted Korach to attack Moshe personally, that he was making up these intricate halachis that make no sense, these laws that he would make just for the sake of power. Moshe Rabbeinu arranges a showdown with Korach's men and Aaron HaKohen. Each of them brought their own version of keteres, their own version of incense, and obviously Hashem only accepted the one of Aaron. Korach's men were punished, and that was the end of that. However, we find a very different narrative portrayed in the simple meaning of the pasuk, and that which we see from the Mefarshim. Based on the simple reading of the psukim, Korach's claim was centered around Aaron HaKohen. Korach wanted that every Jew become a high priest. There should be no hierarchy in who gets to serve what. The parsha continues with miracles that happen to Aaron HaKohen's staff, with different halachas, with different laws that apply to the Kohanim. But on the other hand, we find in the Medrashim, we find in the commentators, the Mefarshim, who explain that this was a fight against Moshe Rabbeinu, how Korach was against Moshe Rabbeinu's very leadership of the people, and how when Korach's people rebelled and ultimately repented, they said, Moshe emes v'teirasei emes. Moshe is true, his Torah is true. So which one is it? Was it a fight against Moshe Rabbeinu, or was it a fight against Aaron HaKohen? We also see how the Gemara tells us, based on the story of Korach, that anyone who holds a machlekes to his heart, someone who doesn't let a argument go, did a very big avera, as we see from Korach. Why is Korach used as the example for division, for argument, over anything else? And explains the Rebbe, it's very simple. It's something that we see so clearly today. We see that there are people who disagree because they care about the truth. There are people who disagree because they care about themselves. But then there are the people who are so consumed by the disagreement that the disagreement itself becomes the point of discussion. It's no longer about logic. It's no longer about trying to win. It's just about the fact of fighting. Rashi tells us that when Moshe heard of Korach's argument, he fell on his face. Why? As Rashi tells us, mipnei hamachlekes, because of the argument. Not even what the argument was about, because of the very fact that there was division. The purpose of Torah is to unify, to bring things together, to allow the physical and the spiritual to come together as one. That was something that Moshe Rabbeinu as a person represented completely. His entire life was dedicated to that. And then came his right-hand man, Aaron HaKohen, who represented what Moshe believed on a much more practical level. He was the person running for peace, running to make unity. Someone known for his Avas Yisrael and bringing people together. So Korach openly challenged Aaron HaKohen, but the fight was a fight against Moshe as well. Korach was a person who wanted division, separation, arguments, always looking to find the inconsistencies between the people instead of the things that bring us together. And all he did was mask it behind the claim that sounded catchy. There should be no leaders. We're all equal. Why do you, the people, allow yourself to be suppressed by the governing authority? But it was all a cover-up for what he actually represented, and that was the drive to fight. The source for the prohibition of holding on to an argument, for holding on to a machlekes, is learned from Korach, because he was someone who represented argument, and our job is to stop that. The reason the story of Korach was written in the Torah, sealed into eternity, that once a week, every year, for thousands of years, we recount this story, is to learn a lesson from it. And the lesson is, stop focusing on the things that divide us. Instead, focus on the things that unite us. Because ultimately, that's what Torah is about. Torah is about the unity, taking the physical, taking the spiritual, merging it together to create one beautiful world where Hashem can live in. And before we can fix the world, we have to fix ourselves. So if we work on ourselves, our unity with others, we will ultimately be able to go out and properly influence the world. And by doing that, we will ultimately fully refine the world, fulfilling the purpose of Torah, and ultimately bringing the coming of Mashiach may come speedily in our days. Wishing you a good Shabbos.